Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh, Kolayim La, Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shah, Malak Yahweh, Bashem Kakadash, double honors to the apostles of the Ellsworth Millstone, peace, citation, and hope for elect. Shalom. And Lord willing, I'll come up with a title for this video. But as for the news, for KSAT, ABC 12, it says, BCSO woman escapes from South Bexar County home. Says she was kidnapped, beaten for several days. It says suspect took woman to Arizona and almost dumped her there. And this was published on June 4th, 2022, 4:26 p.m. It says a man was arrested after a woman escaped a South Bexar County home and says she was kidnapped and beaten over the course of several days, according to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. BCSO Sheriff Javier Salazar said the woman, 45, was able to flee the home in the 11,200 block of Briggs Road, not far from Interstate 35 and Lucky Road, early Saturday morning and run to a neighbor's home to call for help. She told officers that 46-year-old Jason Daniel Steele, whom she used to date several months ago, kidnapped her at a farm she was working at in Pearsall. Steele put her in an 18-wheeler and drove her to Tempe, Arizona, where he tried to abandon her, Salazar said. The woman was able to convince Steele to bring her back to Texas, but he locked her in a bedroom for several days, according to Salazar. There she was beaten, unfed, and threatened with a weapon, he said. She tried to escape at one point, but a tussle ensued between her and Steele, and she was unsuccessful. Second time she tried to escape, she was successful, but Steele was on drugs and apparently let his guard down, Salazar said. The woman is safe and recovering, he said. SWAT officers went to the home to make an arrest, and while Steele went outside, 3 other people inside refused to leave, Salazar said. At one point, officers used tear gas to get them out, and then eventually gave themselves up, Salazar said. It is unclear what charges, if any, those 3 people will face, but Salazar said they are investigating drug activity and possible human smuggling connected to the home. At the very least, these 3 people knew that this lady was being held against her will, he said, adding that they were checking on her but not feeding her. Steele is facing charges of kidnapping and assault, family violence. His second offense, Salazar said. He was wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And so it seemed like this is it about the report, but from right there I'm just gonna go into some scriptures. Scripture says in Isaiah 32 verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the years shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you, make you bear, gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Exactly. And pretty much, like, this woman was caught up in a situation where, she was kidnapped, and for several days, she was getting troubled, and she was held against her will. And what that guy did right there, that was pretty much a crime. He pretty much kidnapped her, and pretty much like the society's still in order. There's still some some law and order here, and for him to do that while society's still in function, shows you how much these men are really coming after you, woman. And this was a guy that she dated. They said, prior to all these things happening, like that happened to her, and prior to what he did, they were dating like several months ago, as it said in the article. And who knows if she did some shit that got him, furious, or, because women like to do those things. Pretty much, they like to do things that upset men, and because scriptures will say that all wickedness is little to the wickedness of a woman. So Only the Most High knows what that woman did to that man that led that man to doing something like that. But regardless, it shows you that the times that we coming into, you women are gonna have to cleave on to a man of the Lord eventually, you know. And that's why it says in Isaiah 32 verse 2 says that a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadows of a rock in a great land. You know, women need a man for protection. So as you can see, she was pretty much being abducted, and she was working, where she was working at, she was getting abducted from that guy, by that guy, and he was kidnapping her, against her will. So it shows you that a lot of shit like that is gonna happen to women more often, and that's gonna be a normal thing for a guy to see a woman, and just even a woman that he either used to deal with or a woman that he never dealt with at all, just for him to snatch that woman up. That's gonna be a normal thing very soon. And that point, you know that part of the scripture where it mentions how women are supposed to be housekeepers instead of like working like 9 to 5 jobs and things of that nature. Yeah, there's a law for that. You're supposed to be at home and taking care of your, serving your man, and raising the children if y'all have children. Yeah. But nowadays Esau will say that y'all able to work as men, like men, and try to be equal to men, which is pretty much going off. But he turned a lot of things upside down. Well, by the time when Jacob's trouble hits, and eventually when the Most High gives the men of the Lord protection and spiritual power as well, you women are gonna fall in line, and eventually you're gonna have to do what's required of you, and if you want to be saved, And had she not worked a 9 to 5 job, I'm pretty sure that shit like that wouldn't have happened. But according to this society, everything is backwards, and they give women the same liberty as men, and that's why a lot of them get in these situations where they get kidnapped, and they get molested, or there's just some sort of crimes that happen to them, and that right there, that's a whatever happened to that woman, that was pretty much a spirit creative of vengeance that happened to her, because she someone to do that to you, obviously everything that happens, the Most High has a reason for it. You may not see it, you may think that person is innocent, but like Job the 4th chapter verse 7 says, no one perisheth being innocent, no one gets judged innocently. There's always a reason for everything. And this is the last scripture I'll bring out, because pretty much, like, I don't want to make this a long lesson, just something simple, straight to the point. Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 30, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, and in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. And pretty much, like, ironically, that guy that kidnapped her, dated her, like they said in the article, a couple months before he kidnapped her, and pretty much did that shit, which would be considered as a crime. Who knows what she did to him that made him do that? We don't know the whole full story of this. The people in the news don't know the full story. Only the Most High knows, So, but to be honest, that pretty much, whatever happened to her was her judgment. And in these times to come, it's going to get worse. than that. You're gonna see shit. It's gonna be to the point where no one's gonna call 911, and 911's not even gonna be in service in that time when you read the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16, and Second Ezra, chapter 15 and 16. When you read those books, you know the times that we coming into, we're closely approaching those times. You know, and a woman, you know, that think they don't need a man and they think they could be independent. That shit, that whole feminist attitude, that whole feminist ideology, all that shit is going out the door very soon. And you women are gonna fall in line eventually, and you're gonna realize that, you know, a man is of the Lord, you know, first and foremost, a man of the Lord is gonna be the one to pretty much save you from these predicaments that's gonna happen to y'all. That's gonna save y'all out of the calamities that's y'all gonna face in the future for y'all wickedness. Yeah. And with that, I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Alak, Yahweh, Bashem, Kakadash, to all honor to the apostles, that was great millstone, peace, our teaching, hope for life. Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Bakashah, Shalakawayam, Adawayam, Wakawayam, Wa, Baba, Shalom.